Okay. I think we're doing it. Welcome to the live stream relating to the Retro Funding 5 results. We are here to chat a bit about this round, how it went, and to hear a bit from the participants in this round, the people that contribute to the OP Stack, and Ethereum core development. To kick us off, I will tell you a bit about the overall round, the fifth iteration of retroactive public goods funding. So retro funding is the way by which Optimism rewards its contributors for their impact. And in the fifth round, we focused on the OP stack. And this was spread out into three categories. So we rewarded contributions to Ethereum core development, everything that underlies the OP stack, Optimism as the extension of Ethereum, contributions to OP stack research and development, and then some of the OP stack tooling that is used to spin up and run your own chain. Cool, we had around 79 projects participating, and voters have allocated around 8 million OP to these 79 projects. The voters for retro funding are the Optimism citizens, unique humans that make up the collective. And in each round, we are running some experiment to make sure that we learn and iterate on how we best run retro funding to accurately reward impact. In this one, we ran an experiment around expertise. So we try to understand what the influence is of expertise on making good OP allocation decisions. So on making decisions to most accurately reward impact. To accomplish this, we had some guest voters in this round, some people we invited because they have high knowledge and expertise relating to the OP stack. And we also had the existing citizens, some of which do not have expertise relating to the OP stack, vote. Now we're going to go into the results of this experiment, and they're definitely going to be juicy. So you have to wait. You have to wait for that, but hopefully it will bring us one step closer to making retro funding more accurate, one step closer to summoning Ether's Phoenix. On that topic, this is kind of roughly retro funding 5, 79 projects that contributed to the OP stack, 8 million OP to reward impact. On this note of Ether's Phoenix, I'll hand it over to Mark. Mark, as one of the co-founders of Optimism, maybe you can recap for us why we are doing this retroactive public goods funding thing and what the end game is for it.
Totally. Thanks, Jonas. Yeah, so what is retro funding really, and why are we doing it? These are great philosophical questions. We could probably stay up all night thinking about this. Really, we're here to try to upgrade capitalism. It sounds a little crazy, but, why else? What else are we going to do with our lives besides crazy things? We got to upgrade capitalism because, capitalism as is today, it's just, not serving society. Like what's going on out there. The world is a crazy place. It's kind of, all the institutions are failing us. We gotta fix the world. We gotta, make some big bets. We gotta, upgrade capitalism. So the claim, we have more than enough resources as a civilization to raise everyone out of poverty and increase the median standard of living. This is not just about, building a blockchain. This is far more. This is about solving real world problems and improving the economy. We're not just trying to allocate some points on a chain, right? We want to have real world impact. So, it's not easy to allocate capital though. It's way easier said than done, because if it was easy to do, we'd already be doing it, right? So the blockchain, right, is this fundamental new thing. It adds this hardness property where you can kind of trust. It creates reliable systems of automated coordination, right? So the idea here is we can begin to increase the efficiency of capital allocation by building these automated systems on chain, right? So, what even is retrofunding, right? The idea with retrofunding is that we pay out after the fact, right, rather than before. And a lot of the times in the world today, we'll pay out before, and it's kind of like, the person. There's a lot of risk. Like it might not be impactful. Like the thing that you're paying out for might not come to fruition, right? So the idea is to kind of flip the model around and observe after the fact how influential or impactful things are, and then pay out accordingly, right? And the same idea has been studied by like people like Scott Alexander and the effective altruists. They call it impact markets. So it's like not something that we're inventing out of thin air. People have been talking about it for a long time, right? And retrofunding is by no means perfect, right? There's a lot of problems. Like there's this cold start problem, right? It's like, how can people work for free with an unknown chance that they're going to receive a payout retroactively, right? So retrofunding is not like a one fits all solution. It's like part of like a family of solutions to improve capital allocation, right? And then there's also this like thing where retrofunding is like a big data problem, right? And we kind of have to build like this all-seeing eye to like observe everything about the system, right? And then we can like effectively allocate capital based on all this information. But then it turns out we're kind of building like the same thing we tried to escape, right? Because like Web 2, like, Google is always tracking you. And like, we're not trying to like rebuild and make the exact same mistakes as Web 2. So luckily we've got some cryptography to like, solve those problems. And yeah, so pretty much we need to try new things. We need to reduce waste in capital allocation. And this is really important because, we have increasing levels of wealth inequality in the world today. Um, you know, Over the last like few years, it's gotten much, much worse. And if we don't do something, there might be like a crazy revolution. I don't know how it's going to play out, but, we got to do something, change the way the economy works. Retro funding is one way to do this. Cool. So, um, I would like to turn it over to our guests. We have Tame from Sunnyside Labs. We got Skelly from DeFi Wonderland. And then we have Trent and Peter from Protocol Guild. So let's spend a little bit of time just, getting to know like you all. Thank you for hopping on this call with us and, you know, um, being interested in retro funding and making it happen. Um, Tim, let's start with you. You want to just give like a quick intro and a little overview of, what you do?
Yeah, sure. Hey everyone. This is Cam from Sunnyside Labs. Previously testing product, we are changing our name to Sunnyside officially pretty soon. So Sunnyside Labs is one of the core development team of Optimism Collective. We've been working on all parts of the OP stack, starting with the execution layer with the OP Aragon, and the consensus layer with the building Delta network upgrades, and the proof layer with the asterisk. And in these days, we are working on the building easier infrastructures and the lowering the barrier for the OP stack for better adoptions onwards. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Cool. Of course. Thanks for coming. Cool. Can you explain a little bit about the work that you applied to retro funding round 5 with?
Yeah, sure. We applied with 3 projects. As I mentioned earlier, the OP Aragon, the Delta upgrades, and the Asterisk. I'll elaborate one by one. OP Aragon, it's an alternative execution client that prioritizes the efficiencies. By efficiency meanings in terms of computing and the disk size. For example, the disk footprint of the OP Aragon is like 78% less than the Geth, so it's pretty efficient. And what's it called? And it's serving the core infrastructure such as the quick nodes, block gates, and those kind of core infrastructures in the ecosystem. And the second project we applied is the Delta upgrades. It's the second network upgrades of the superchain, and it was the first network upgrade that was prepared by outside of OP Labs. This is kind of good because, like, it means the collective is getting more decentralized and it's growing. It was the upgrade that reduces like 97% of the fixed cost of the OP chain. So it was pretty good upgrades for the small and medium-sized chains. And the last project was the Asterisk. It's the alternate fault-proof client, fault-proof VM that runs RISC-V, and that's one of the core components that is guiding OP Stack to the stage 2.
Nice. Yeah. All those projects are really cool. OP Aragon, very good. Client diversity is like a very powerful tool. We found a bunch of bugs because of client diversity. So thank you for helping to secure the network that way. And then also Delta, the Delta network upgrade that, introduced this idea of span batches. It's kind of like a application specific, compression format for batches that reduced the overhead of batches by quite a bit, really pushing down the cost of running a rollup. And then, Asterisk is also a really cool one that is like really important for our stage 2 roadmap. Basically, shipping this VM. The idea is for stage 2 rollup, multi-proofs is really important because in stage 2, you don't really have this idea of being able to arbitrarily upgrade the chain. Upgrades are behind a delay, and you really need a mechanism where the chain can observe like a fault or like a bug and automatically pause. And the Security Council is only able to like come in and unpause. And when I say pause, this is the bridge. So like withdrawals. The Security Council can come in and like unpause only if like the chain can like observe the fault. Like like the Security Council can't arbitrarily do anything. So in practice, this looks like, if Asterisk disagrees with Canon, our existing fault proof, then, the system should pause. And then, this is important for the stage 2 roadmap. So,
like the old works were in a very tight, it could come out with a tight collaboration with the OP Labs. So like, it was pretty fun journey, and very thankful to y'all.
Cool. All right. Tim, what motivated you to contribute to OP Stack?
Okay. That's a good question. So like, I kind of talked about this in the previous streams with the optimism, but would love to touch it again, of course. We thought that the optimism's collective approach is the only way to scale the Ethereum. By meaning the collective approach is the retro funding and the OP stack flywheel. The scaling Ethereum is really difficult. It requires a lot of talents, and it requires a lot of knowledges. It requires a lot of technologies. And, this great flywheel allows, the common vision and the common, technologies to build, and it aligns everyone with the same great, incentive mechanism, which is the retro funding. So I think this is the best way to scale the Ethereum for the internet scale, so that at the end of the day, we can all build the more open internet that the mankind deserves. So that's the reason why we are contributing to the optimism.
Nice. Amazing. Thank you. Cool. Skelly, do you mind introducing yourself and just, explaining a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey all. So I'm Skelly. I'm co-founder and lead architect at Wonderland. What we do basically is that we have the theory that we cannot build the future of DeFi and Web3 that we want. That's why our URL is defi.sucks, but it should be web3.sucks. So what we do is we partner with amazing teams such as Optimism and other teams in different verticals, basically to work alongside them to solve the most difficult challenges in the industry. For Optimism, what we are mainly doing right now is we're working on all the interoperability, smart contracts, and standard side of things. This includes, let's say, ERC20 interoperability, and also a lot of the primitives that will get used for chain-to-chain communication, asset transfers, etc. We are also working on kind of making these standards as generic as possible for them to be also, let's say, implemented on other different ecosystems, so we can have a broader interoperability that will basically benefit the entire industry and not just a single cluster of chains. That's it.
Cool. Can you tell us a little bit about what motivated you to contribute to the OP stack?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's tied to the same rationale on why we founded Wonderland, but basically we've been trying to become core developers of Optimism for a very long time now. We started doing different smaller grants, basically jumping into the GitHub issues, into any basically open request for participation type of thing that we saw. We talked with everybody to say, hey, we want to collaborate, we want to do this. We believe on the Optimism vision, we believe on the team, and after meeting most of you guys, we are super happy to be working together. That's basically it. I mean, it's similar to what Tam said, which is we know this is the way forward. I mean, collaborative efforts are way stronger than just basically siloed developers, basically doing work in the dark and then sporadically releasing things. So we do firmly believe in public goods, in building in the open, trying to get as many people as we can involved in the process.
Amazing. Yeah, you have been just a really just a force multiplier to the velocity of the OP stack. So thank you so much for your contributions.
Awesome, thanks. It's been super fun to work on those problems.
Cool. What are you most excited about for in 2025?
I think the thing that will be most exciting is to see all of these different chains be able to kind of take form in custom features. Right now, all the L2s or every chain that gets deployed is just the same code. Basically, it doesn't have any crazy weird thingy built on top. I think like the guys, I don't remember the name, but the guys that are building like all of the stack, MUD, I think it is. I'm not sure like what's the name of the specific chain that MUD is running their system on. I guess that's the only thing that I'm seeing right now, which is like, oh, these guys are doing like something crazy. They're trying to build the infrastructure to be able to actually run games on chain, which is insane. I guess games is one of the most, well, gambling as well, and other areas, but are the ones that kind of are pushing kind of technology faster, just because like you can fail and whatever, right? With DeFi, it's not so easy. There is like way more things at risk or at stake. But yeah, I'm very excited to see like what specific or crazy things people will build on the OP stack as core or as periphery to all the infrastructure that we've been building.
Nice. Yeah, same. I think I'm hoping for a big renaissance in what's possible as we continue to improve the OP stack and other kind of rollup frameworks also improve. Cool. Thank you for your patience, Trent and Peter. I'd love to hear a little bit about you and Protocol Guild.
Yeah, go ahead, Peter, if you want to do the intro.
Sure, I'll jump in. My name is Peter. I'm an operations contributor to Protocol Guild. And Protocol Guild is a collective funding mechanism for 180 plus core developers who are, making up the research and development community for Ethereum L1. And I have been working in the on-chain space for about 6 years now. Before that, working with Augur and Index Co-op.
Awesome. Yeah, Trent, do you want to intro it all?
Myself or Protocol Guild?
Yourself and Protocol Guild. Maybe I'm curious. I want to know a little bit about like the philosophy of like why Protocol Guild.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm a longtime Ethereum community member, and have worked in a number of different projects. Protocol Guild has been the main one for the past few years, and since 2021, we've been building around this framework that the Ethereum L1 is this collective common good that many people and projects, Optimism notably, are leveraging as part of their dependency stack. So it's not a single individual. Vitalik doesn't magically conjure the L1 into existence just like the L2s. It requires a lot of hard work and a lot of collaboration. There's no single individual and even no single project like a single client team that builds the L1 and gives its assurances that the broader ecosystem depends on. So Protocol Guild takes this frame that there's this common good that many people and projects depend on, and it packages that into a funding mechanism. In that, there's no, like I said, no individual or single project that makes the L1 possible. And so this funding mechanism recognizes this by bundling people from many different projects. Today we have individual members from 29 different projects, including client teams, people who are doing research about the future of the L1, and then the people who are very much not as visible to large parts of the community. So that's like DevOps, people who maintain test nets, people who do testing, the really, let's say the unsung heroes of people who help collaborate to make network upgrades possible. And then you have people who do coordination like myself or Tim Byko and or formerly Danny Ryan. Maybe you recognize these names. So Protocol Guild bundles all of these individuals together as a single, what we hope is a logical encapsulation of all the work and people with varying profiles, whether they're really visible or just happy to stay focused in their little niche, bundles it together as a common funding mechanism for this common resource, which is the L1. the network, the asset, and then the software media, which Optimism does leverage in a bunch of different contexts.
Yeah, and the goal here is really to improve the economic prospects of contributing to Ethereum L1, and yeah, just help to onboard more great contributors in the future and retain the great ones that we do have, and just make it a competitive advantage to contribute to Ethereum in the long term.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I can definitely, over the years, the people that are building for the long term, not being rewarded as much as the people that are just building for the immediate short term, definitely doesn't feel good. And we want to attract, the best talent to the Ethereum ecosystem and build for the long term. So, thank you for creating this structure that is, helping to solve for this problem.
Happy to. Yeah, it's been rewarding, and I wouldn't be working on anything else.
Cool. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're most excited about for in 2025?
Sure. I mean, this is this year, and I think the next few years are really the culmination of Ethereum up to this point. So there's not really a single. I'm often very bad. As many people who are in their niche are, like, I'm very bad at like engaging with the broader application and the latest narrative trends. But what I do know is that Ethereum is delivering on its history to this date, and that is obviously implies the layer 2 roadmap coming into full strength and full fruition. So I'm just incredibly excited to see something we've been thinking about and talking about for many years finally coming to the fore, and people are realizing the benefits in the same way that people talked about proof of stake for many years. Like when I joined the community, this was the animating narrative, the animating excitement that so many people anchored to. And then it finally came in 2022, and then we were able to move into this new vision of, okay, how can we actually scale this thing that now we have proof of stake, but there's still so much more to do. And so we're seeing that play out with the launch of 4844, EIP 4844, also called Proto-Dank sharding, which is really the jumping off point that launched earlier this year, that really gave incredible benefits to layer 2s and allowed them to decrease their costs for end users, which is the ultimate goal, is to get more people using on-chain infrastructure at a lower cost. So seeing this come has been incredible. I had played a small part in the KZG ceremony, which was a prerequisite for 4844 going live. And there's continuing work. Many of the members of Protocol Guild are engaged with this continuing work of PeerDAS, making 4844 or blob transactions even cheaper, which then translates into greater accessibility for as many people around the world. So 2025 is just being excited about seeing the blob market hit saturation, the fee market kick in, seeing more and more people using Ethereum DA, and then the less sexy stuff, which is maintenance, stewardship of these core code bases that underpin the Ethereum L1 security guarantees. That's the maybe not as exciting an answer, but like I'm here for the long-term maintenance and stewardship of this stuff. That it's kind of like the things that you don't recognize until they're broken or until they're gone. That's what the Ethereum L1 should be, is just like this rock solid, stable, dependable infrastructure that the L2s can then, a lot of people talk about the expansion of culture or like extensions of Ethereum. And I think it's a really apt way to frame it. And so the L1 can be super solid and stable, and the L2s, the Optimism superchain, they can do what they do best, which is variation, experimentation, and so much more. So that's what I'm excited about.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited about that too. You know, when I watch L1 make progress, I just feel like really proud, to be honest, to see how far the whole core development process has come. And, you know, it feels like it's moving along better than ever, like more coordinated, able to ship more and more complex things, able to make good decisions. So yeah, I'm super excited about the progress of L1 next year as well. Cool. Peter, curious about you. What are you excited about next year?
Yeah, well, I'm really excited to see the Protocol Guild mechanism grow. I think what's interesting is we have a lot of really cool projects that are starting to take the 1% pledge. If you guys are familiar with that, that is you know, a request of 1% of a given project's token supply. And so we have some really cool projects and really large projects in this space that have taken the pledge, and we'll be able to announce them over the next coming months. And we're hoping to you know, build on that momentum and continue to grow that mechanism over time. I think it's really cool to see like radical, ambitious mechanisms like Protocol Guild intersect with radical, ambitious funding mechanisms like retro funding, and to see that continue to grow and that relationship grow is exciting as well.
Awesome. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think like we have to definitely figure out how to come up with mechanisms to solve these kind of, you know, unsolved problems, you know, where public goods just aren't funded. And, you know, Protocol Guild and retro funding are both kind of attacking similar problems from kind of different ways. So, yeah, excited to, you know, continue to work together. Cool. Well, we are at 30 minutes. Does anyone else have anything they want to say or share with the stream before we call it?
Excited for 2025.
Cool, cool. Excited for 2025. You know, it's still early. There's so much to do, but we're all going to make it. You know, we have a lot of shipping to do. It's a good year to ship. Hopefully we can, you know, see more chains hit stage 1. Hopefully we can see a stage 2 chain. That'd be pretty cool. And hopefully we can get some blob, you know, gas target limits, you know, going up. And yeah, 2025 is the year of the ship. Let's do it. Cool. Thank you, everyone, for coming and listening in. And we will see you on the other side.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.